in Charlotte. It is so great to have all of you here. Look at this crowd. Hillary Clinton, we are so honored. And I know you have also just heard my really, really good friend, Alma Adams. Isn't it going to be great calling her Congresswoman Alma Adams? And y'all, we truly are thrilled, all of us here today, to have with us in North Carolina, Hillary Clinton. And it is hard to believe, but today we are actually 10 days away from Election Day, and early voting has already started. And I've been traveling across this great state of ours here in North Carolina, meeting with students, meeting with business owners, meeting with families to talk about what's at stake in this election and to highlight my record of always putting North Carolina first. And you better believe, with just over a week to go before this election on November 4th, the eyes of the country are on North Carolina right now. Folks from all across this nation are looking to this race, looking to our state to see if our grassroots efforts can still triumph this out-of-state billionaires and their money. They are trying to buy this election. Right. Well, today, with early voting already underway, I want you to help me send a message loud and clear to my opponent and to his special interest allies. And I want it to be so loud that the Koch brothers and Karl Rove, wherever they are, because we know they're not in North Carolina, we want to tell them that North Carolina is not for sale. So let's say that one more time collectively. North Carolina is not for sale. Woo, they're good. You know, I have always stood for North Carolina first, and I always will. And I am so honored that we have with us today my friend Hillary Clinton here in North Carolina. She is someone who knows exactly what is at stake in this election. She has been fighting for our children, for our families, for our jobs for decades. Doing that as our First Lady, as a U.S. Senator, and as Secretary of State of the United States. And you know, I had the honor of serving at that time with Senator Clinton for about 2 weeks in 2009 before she was sworn in as Secretary of State. But I've gotten to know her well over these last 6 years. For instance, Hillary is always welcome to join the 20 U.S. female senators, Republican and Democrat, at our about every 6 weeks dinners. She is always welcome. We get together to meet and talk on an informal basis, and it's a pleasure. And y'all, during my first campaign for the U.S. Senate here in North Carolina in 2008, when my kids were still in college, and they're here today, they used to bump into Chelsea during campaign stops at universities across the state. And it was always, always a treat for them. So please know how happy I am to have Hillary join me on this campaign trail in her new role as a grandmother. And what a name that was picked for her grandbaby. Charlotte. Don't you think maybe they had Carolina on their mind? Yeah. And as a new grandmother myself, I know that there's nothing better in the world than being a grandmother. And, you know, just like you, I want to be sure that we build the best possible future for all of your kids and for all of our grandchildren. And Hillary's here today because she knows that that future is on the line right now in North Carolina. More than at any time in our state's history, this election is about people. It's about who we are fighting for. And every day I wake up ready to fight for an economy that will work for everyone, not just the wealthy. Everyone must have the ability to succeed, and it shouldn't depend on the size of your bank account. But we've seen a different North Carolina these past few years as my opponent has given tax breaks to the wealthy and rigged the system against the middle class and our small businesses. But my record is clear. When the interests of North Carolina's families are on the line, I will never back down. I will never back down when someone tells me that we don't need laws to get women equal pay for equal work. I didn't raise my two daughters to think that they were worth 82 cents on the dollar, and I know Hillary didn't either. And what has Speaker Tillis called equal pay? Y'all, he called it a campaign gimmick. Well, it's not a gimmick to the families who are making less money because their wives and moms aren't earning equal pay. And I will never back down when someone tells me that employers should have the right to deny coverage of birth control. It's 2014, and a woman's health care decisions should be between a woman and her doctor, not a woman and her boss. And I will never back down when public education is on the line. Let's give our students, our teachers, our schools the resources they need, not just in an election year, but in every year. And y'all, let's raise the minimum wage. Let's continue increasing access to health care. And let's make college more affordable, and let's let our students refinance their college loans. Y'all, these are my priorities because these are North Carolina's priorities. But once again, we've seen North Carolina go in a different course lately. If we look at Speaker Tillis's record, something he desperately does not want us to do, we can see who he's fighting for, and it certainly is not the middle class. His record in the General Assembly tells us everything we need to know about what he would do if he got to Washington. He doesn't think hard-working North Carolinians deserve to make $10.10 an hour, yet he sees nothing wrong with giving a CEO who's making $10 million a year another tax break. And I tell you what, in 2014, someone who's working a 40-hour work week should not be under the poverty line. And he does think that employers should be able to deny coverage for birth control, and he actually defunded Planned Parenthood in our state. And he cut $500 million from our public education system to give a tax break to the wealthy. Do you know what that means? That means we have fewer teachers, larger classroom size, and outdated textbooks. Y'all, that's wrong for our students, and that is wrong for North Carolina. And I think when we talk about turning Medicare into a voucher program, that's what Tillis would do. And I do believe just recently he is flip-flopping on the issue of knowing how important it is in North Carolina to expand Medicaid to 500,000 people. Listen to what his plan is. His plan is to send our teachers to Texas, our film jobs to Georgia, and our Medicaid dollars to 28 other states. And that is not working for North Carolina families. North Carolina is better than that. And y'all, Speaker Tillis has got a disastrous agenda. And y'all, this is where you come in, each and every one of you here today. I can only win this election with your help. You have been with us every step of the way, and I need you again. Early voting, I think everybody in this room knows, started on Thursday, and it goes until November the 1st. And we need to get as many voters as we can in this great state to the polls before Election Day. So I challenge each and every one of you in this room to take 3 people with you to be sure that your friends, your family, your colleagues get to the polls and vote. And tell them to vote early. Vote before November the 1st. And also, it is not too late to volunteer. I know you've all got a card with you right now. Please sign up for a volunteer session, whether canvassing neighborhoods or making those phone calls or driving people to the polls. Let's please sign up for a shift to make sure other North Carolinians know what is at stake this year. I am counting on your help to take me and Democrats up and down this ballot across the finish line. We need to stand together if we're going to, and to stand up for our North Carolina values. Y'all, I talk to a lot of people around this country, and when people ask me what makes North Carolina so great, I tell them about a special part of our state, in our state toast, the land of the longleaf pine. And Hillary, in that toast, we say, North Carolina's the place where the weak grow strong and the strong grow great. That's what this election is about. And I believe that more than anything, this idea, the weak growing strong and the strong growing great, is on the line right now in our state. But with your help, I know that together we will continue our work of making sure that everybody in our state has the opportunity to grow both strong and great. So now, thank you.